This week in Puerto Rican news, here's what you need to know. Let's start with Pete Hegseth, the laughably titled Secretary of War, whose job seems to be making the world actually less safe. He's trying to rewrite history, and this time we don't need another glaring reminder of colonialism. It's not theory, it's not in the past, it's happening right now and right here. A small, tiny boat in the Caribbean was hit in September, and then when they saw that survivors were on board in an act of barbarism, they hit the boat a second time. The intention being to kill everyone on board. Not only is this a violation of international law, it's the textbook definition of a war crime. And for Puerto Ricans, this doesn't happen in a vacuum, because here in Puerto Rico, in Vieques, the U.S. military used us as their personal bombing sandbox for 60 years. And it's the same empire that's using the entire Caribbean now as a weapons lab, a place to flex their power without consequence. So the colonial mindset hasn't changed. We're always considered the targets, we're always considered the suspects, we're always considered disposable. And after killing innocent people, they're not claiming the fog of war. Defenseless, innocent people in our waters, showcasing yet again that the U.S. has always seen this region as a no-rule zone where they can violate international law and just shrug it off. And so it's important to say that a war crime was committed in the Caribbean this week, and that is no small thing. And as if imperial violence isn't enough, the Puerto Rican government seems to be in competition for the worst leadership of the year. Let's talk about House Bill 862, which would allow a private corporation to own and operate the eastern half of Puerto Rico. This includes El Yunque. Yeah, you heard that right. A corporate takeover being labeled as governance reform. Filed at the request by the Foundation for Puerto Rico, this moves public power to a private entity. That's it. So the Puerto Rican government is handing out land to corporations like it's a party favor. This corporation would handle and operate not only handle federal funds and control natural assets, it would collect fees. Basically cosplaying as a government agency without the accountability and the transparency required. Local environmental groups are warning this opens the door of the island's most fragile ecosystem to development that caters to tourists and private investors, not the community. And this comes just 4 days after House Speaker Johnny Mendez has announced that he wants construction along the northeast corridor, an area that should be protected. So the communities are saying what's obvious: withdraw the bill and start over. And of course, while politicians are too busy playing landlord with developers, the communities on the ground are struggling to survive. Doña Ramona, who is a cancer patient, is being threatened with eviction yet again, even though her family has lived on the land over a century. But they show us yet again that they don't care about our elders, they don't care about our history, they don't care about our dignity. This is what displacement looks like here. So let's talk about food. The crisis in Puerto Rico is real, and the government's doing nothing to stop it. But an organization called Comedores Sociales is, and they've shared testimonies by people that come to them, indicating how precarious life has become here, and how abandoned the people feel by a government that only listens to the wealthy and well-connected. When families have to skip meals so that their kids can eat, that's not mismanagement, that's structural violence. And a new survey here in Puerto Rico indicates that public distrust in the government is at an all-time high. The biggest reason, you guessed it, LUMA, our parasitic utility company, who has been raising the price of electricity to the point that it's triple what it used to be. And the government acts like nothing is happening. And that's why Puerto Ricans have moved more towards solar power and more towards helping their own communities build power from within, because it's the only way we're going to save each other. And as if material failure wasn't enough, surveillance. While they act like nothing is happening here, they seem very intent on surveilling everything that Puerto Ricans are doing. The surveillance state is still very much active. The carpetas era never ended, and recent documents are showing that many people who are activists here are being surveilled everywhere from San Juan with jornadas Se Acabaron las Promesas to Rincon, with the groups there who are actively fighting a government that is trying to work with illegal permits. Meanwhile, ICE is tracking people even on apps like Signal, which are meant to be encrypted. And immigrants here in Puerto Rico are being tracked by their license plates, showing yet again that we have to build a community that organizes and protects our own.